Mornings with your ADHD kid sounding chaotic? Are they forgetting backpacks, having to turn around because you've forgotten thing, not ready to leave when they're supposed to leave, or even worse, being in such a rush that there is no time for breakfast? Starting your day off like this already starts your child's day off in an executive functioning depletion, spinning their wheels, and their day technically hasn't even started. I'm Nicole, an occupational therapist, and I am going to give you strategies for a morning routine that's calm, controlled, and actually peaceful, so they can start off their day with their executive functioning skills full. Plus, I'm also going to share how my new executive functioning guide fits in to help parents just like you build out a morning routine specifically for the executive functioning skills your kid needs to strengthen. Right off the bat, let's throw out the window that limiting belief that just the way our lives are these days and nothing we can do about it. Most important is to get there on time and get out the door. I'm going to challenge you to think a little bit differently. What if I told you that starting off your day and your kids' day this way already sets them up to start their day depleted or in what we call executive functioning overload? There's so many executive functioning skills that come to play in the morning. Things like task initiation, where you're half asleep and you don't want to get up, but you got to get dressed, you got to brush your teeth. These things may be hard to do already because you don't want to do them, but they're even harder on top of that we are asleep. We've just woken up, and some of our kiddos do not sleep very well, so they do not wake up with the best energy and ready to go. So task initiation right off the bat is very challenging for morning routines. Planning, what do I need for my school day? What do I need today? Do I have band? Do I have football? Do I have, backpack A, backpack B? What the heck do I got to bring to school with me? What day is it? Planning can also go out the window, and so can organization if there's not a system set up in place. Then, of course, we have time awareness, right? Did it just take me 20 minutes to brush my teeth? How could that possibly be? I only, got on my iPad for just one video, which maybe turned into 7 videos. Needless to say, time awareness is definitely a big executive function skill that goes into that morning routine, from wake up to walking into the classroom. And then, as if that wasn't enough, we have the executive functioning skill of flexibility, right? Where you can just go with the flow, right? But guess what? In the morning, that skill of flexibility is usually the least time it's available, because we've started our day, we're half asleep, there's a lot of things to do in a little bit of time. So if something doesn't go their way, for example, the pants that I want to wear to my volleyball practice are wet and in the laundry, and now I can't take them to school, maybe enough that one little straw to break the camel's back, the needle in the haystack, to throw emotional regulation out the window as well. So as you can see, I've gone through several executive functioning skills that we need all in one morning. My goal for you is I want you to offload as many of those executive functioning skills as possible. And my number one tip for this, come close because it's a big one. My number one tip for this, do as much of this as you can the night before. Even if we have to extend bedtime, the night before we'll offload the wet pants that were in the washing machine. The night before we'll offload not knowing which backpack I have to bring. The night before we'll eliminate any decisions that you have to make. Decision fatigue also plays into this executive functioning overload that we're talking about. So knowing what clothes they're going to wear, if they get to wear uniforms, wonderful. Is everything out? This does take some more planning the night before, but if we have to pick one area that we need to sacrifice when it comes to routines and chaos, I'd rather it be the night before than the morning, because this executive functioning overload happens throughout the day, right? We just keep using our skills, and we only have so much working memory left in the bank, right? So we want our kids, especially our kids that have any learning differences, ADHD, that may have a reading disability, we want them to start off their day with their executive functioning tank as full as possible, because they're going to need them when they get to the classroom. Statistics are that by the time kids get to school, they've already used 30 to 40% of their executive functioning skills. And throughout the school day, they use another 60 to 70% of executive functioning skills. So no wonder, sometimes by the time the end of the day comes, they're done. They can't do anything else, and they crash and have meltdowns. So this morning routine is really impactful for the whole day. So my number one strategy is get much of this done the night before. Your limiting belief might tell you, we do everything we can, we can't do any of this in the morning. I want you to challenge yourself. Say, is this a limiting belief that we can't do anything? Look at all the things you do in the morning. Even if you offload 2 of the 10 things the night before, that will help the morning routine. One strategy is have the clothes ready to go. Sometimes, and kids think this is really fun, sleep in your uniform, right? So when it's time to wake up, I always recommend movement to get that brain ready and alert and ready to go. And actually, it's been proven that even like 90 seconds of moving, touching your toes, jumping jacks, leg lifts, will get the blood flowing and will tell the brain, hey, it's time to wake up. Let's get ready for the day. So try, and it can be, with kids, it can be fun. It can be a tickle fight. It can be a pillow fight. Again, I'm going to leave it up to you to mitigate that it doesn't set off a whole, oh, this is fun time and I don't need to brush my teeth or do any of the other things. So the second thing I'm going to suggest, because in the beginning of the video I mentioned we end up skipping breakfast. Sometimes your kids are not hungry. It's very important for them to get something in their stomach before they get to school, right? Not a nutritionist here, but I do know a lot about nutrition and how nutrition really helps to regulate your system. So we are looking at executive functioning skills and how can we make them the most efficient possible, right? Food and nutrition is a big part of this, right? So if you can get some healthy protein and all those fun things in the morning, great. If you can only get a waffle out the door with some peanut butter, that's great too. But it's very important to prioritize getting something to eat before their school day starts. And then most importantly, I don't know, this is probably more important than offloading a lot of things till the night before. You have to make time to have a connection with your kid. Your kid can't start the day well if they're already emotionally dysregulated, if there was an argument, if they're, who knows what happens, right? But if they're having all these big feelings so early in the morning because they were rushed, because they didn't get a hug, because they didn't have their favorite breakfast, we know that kids need to be emotionally regulated and connected to have their brain primed for learning. So if at all possible, sneak in 30 seconds, a minute, so you guys can connect. Have a hug. It can be, that even just arms around them. A 5-second rub will be enough to relay that, hey, we're connected and we're both going to have a great day, right? Try and eliminate any difficult conversations. Don't have them in the morning before school starts. Remember that co-regulation piece really stays with them when they start their day, and they take that with them into their learning environment. Remember, there are 11 executive functioning skills. So once you get a feel of where the areas that your child needs a little bit more growth regarding executive functioning skills, then you can really double down on which of these strategies to prioritize for your morning routine, right? So that we can offload some of that executive functioning work for their day. So this is exactly where my new executive functioning guide comes in. It's meant for parents to take a minute, look at their perspective on executive functioning skills, and then get right to figuring out where are my kids' strengths and where are the areas that my kiddo needs extra support. That way, when you're trying to put together the morning routine, actually it's not the organization piece, it's the prioritization piece where they really get stuck and it takes them a really long time. It might not even be the time awareness piece. It might be they're struggling with prioritization and they can't figure out what's the most important thing to do in that morning routine. So having an overarching understanding of the executive functioning skills is super beneficial. However, knowing what executive functioning skills your kiddo is struggling with, that's the secret sauce, because now you basically have the roadmap on how to support your kiddo. And the best part is this when you go through the guide, it should only take about 5 minutes. I made it parent friendly and I made it with a checklist because checklists are powerful. There'll be an action piece at the end so you'll know exactly how to implement this checklist, right? And it's 100% free. I made it easier so that it's easier for parents to know what they're looking for, learn a little bit about the executive functioning skills, but know exactly what skills their kiddo needs to work with and how they can apply it. So it's called the Executive Functioning Guide. It's in the link below and you're gonna love it. And it's made for parents just like you, looking to help their kids with their morning routine and with everything that executive functioning skills help them get done.